And so what if this is some type of ritual? What if this is some type of part of the spell or part of the ritual to hold the matrix together? God, dog spelled backwards. Some people say America has Egypt in it. And then, people say Egypt is in Africa. So wherever Egypt is. But there was a dog-headed God. And so God is dog spelled backwards. Okay, so the actual dog cannot run up in another male dog booty hole, even though they always be trying to mount the dog, but it can't go in because the booty hole just not opening. Like I've never, witnessed a male dog penetrate another male dog. I know they be trying, but they're not able to achieve it in the canine form, but they can achieve it in the human form. The heterosexual relationships, like a lot of times the males or the men, like to do it from the back. They like to do it doggy style. You following me? So what if the reason why dogs are so sacred in this reality and why they say dog is man's best friend is because they literally swapping with each other? Like maybe that's why we get buried in these caskets and we swapping. Like in some lore, they believe that our familiars, dogs and cats, are demons. And what if humans is swapping? Like, that gets tricky because it's beings who was born female who participate in the anal sex ritual. And when I had no choice but to do anal, I kind of feel like it was grooming to sitting up in church every Sunday, worshiping him, talking about how much you love him. It makes sense that you would have romantic feelings, that you would want to be just close to that being, feel next to that being. And in the reality, in when you're a dog, you can't do the anal ritual, and so you swap to the human body, so you can do the anal thing. It could be considered a reach. I can see how some people could be considered this reaching. But if you really believe that souls could swap, and like if you know the lore about certain animals being demons, and I definitely feel like we're in hell. Like we definitely not in the fifth, the fourth. Definitely, we're not in the ninth dimension, the eighth dimension, the seventh. Like I definitely believe that this is one of the degrees of Tartarus, one of the levels of Tartarus. So I definitely believe there's a underworld god, and so the whole concept of demons and the underworld god Anubis playing a role makes sense. There has to be a story that goes back, you know, because I do believe there was a time when animals and humans were literally able to speak to each other, where they were able to communicate with each other. And I think as humans have began, I think there's been times throughout the human species evolution and existence where we were more tapped in, using more of our brain, using more of our spiritual energy, more connected to nature. And obviously there's been times when we weren't so connected, and those gifts kind of went dormant. And so I do believe there's been periods in consciousness throughout this human existence where we have been able to verbally communicate with each other, or just more profoundly telepathically communicate with each other. And so what if there's some type of contract between men who uphold hegemony and the patriarch, and between canine species, that is holding this together? Like, and there are womb bearers, female body beings, who are also helping to uphold these contracts. I just find that interesting, like the relationship that, some men have with dogs, and the fact that dogs are much more comfortable showing affection to both male and female dogs, but they can only penetrate the female dog when the female dog is in heat. The male dog, they could try all they might, but not able to accomplish it. And then in human form, when they take on the human form, they can do it, and it's just, and I don't know. I guess that part of the ritual is like, because ever since I had like my revision, I just like, I don't like anal, and I don't really care for. I'm at the point to where I don't really care for sex at all anymore. Like to do it at all. Don't get me wrong. I still get those feelings, and I still get those thoughts, and I still see, beings that are attractive to me. The other day, something popped up on my timeline, and it was giving eggplant in boxes, and it was sexy, and child, before I knew it, honey, something tantric had happened, and I was, it was orgasmic, So I'm not gonna say that I don't still have the thoughts or the ideas to want to do it, but actually investing in the whole production of intimacy, I think about it, and and I try not to think about it too much, because you think about it too much, child. Cute date, like some people say, this ain't true all the time, but they say you keep going to the barbershop, you're gonna get a haircut. So I try not to give too much energy to the sexual or the intimate thoughts that I be having. But yeah, child, the other day it had been a minute, and on baby, the pressure just built up, honey, and the pressure had burst that pipe, honey, and I ain't even touched myself, honey. It just was, them thighs went to rubbing and squeezing, and the next thing you know, it was pressure, and it was an explosion. Amen, a woman. So I still have like the thoughts and the ideas, but it's the production. Like, I'm not into the actual production of none of it. Those my commitment issues. I'm committing to intimacy like regularly. Like, so it don't even make no sense to get it started at this point. But I'm almost 50. I've had some beautiful experiences, so I'm not really complaining or putting it down, to my siblings and, my offspring, my spiritual offspring. I say, get your life. To my elders who still, with the shit, get your life. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share. Love y'all. Layla Blayler Nation. Purple ones, rise.